Welcome to another episode of Paranormal CPR. I'm Chuck Parker. We're here with the one and only Sharon Kissane. How are you, Sharon?
Fine, thanks, Chuck.
Psychic. Do I have to call you doctor? You're a doctor.
Well, you don't have to call me doctor, but I am a doctor.
Is it the right thing to do?
Well, if you feel like doing it, then do it.
I feel like it.
Then do it.
I'll just call you doctor.
Thank you. That's fine.
And we're here with Mr. Scott Allen.
Hey again, Chuck.
From my previous show.
How are you?
Oh.
Well, we're going to talk about something, and then we're going to have her do maybe a little reading with
I
you
can
and
be
stuff
silent.
like that. I always ask people, I always ask people that do what you do, because I know you're well known.
Yeah.
Pretty much when you started doing it, how you knew it. Because
Good
most
question.
people say when they're real young. It seems like it's always
Yes.
when they're like little kids. Somebody passed away, an aunt or somebody came to them and.
Well, I would think that that's true. I think I was always psychic, but I didn't know that because my mother was psychic and she didn't want to tell me to scare me. So at 9, I was reading all the handwriting books and I was trying to move furniture. Never did succeed at that with my mind. I was trying to do that. And I always had voices and good intuition. And then at 14, one of my girlfriend's mothers, who was very good psychic, she wanted to give me lessons, but it frightened me.
How do they
frightened
give
me.
lessons?
I didn't take
get
the
the
lessons, but
thing.
I suppose practice with her on doing
Okay.
readings, because the more you do, the sharper you become. It's really true. Like I suppose any other skill you practice. But my psychic goes way, way back in the family. You inherit it.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. You can increase it or you can ignore it, but if you want to pursue it, it is from way back when in my family. I know that.
So you knew it. When was the light bulb moment?
Well,
that
I
you
think
knew
when
it?
I was 14 and the lady said I had a very high psychic powers, and she was a good psychic, so I was
Yeah, but
upset.
that's still a woman telling you that. You had to do something to make you feel it.
Well,
know what I'm
I think
saying?
I always did. I'm good in deaths. I can always predict deaths, or I can smell
Deaths?
deaths. Yes, when someone dies, I can.
Like with me?
Yeah, I could probably.
I don't want you to.
I didn't offer
could.
to, so
Yeah, but
but
it's my show, so if I say, could
no,
you do
I
it?
wouldn't do it even
I don't want
if
you
you
to.
ask. But
it's scary
with
to me.
my relatives, it wasn't scary. It was good for me because then I could anticipate that and prepare. It's people close to me that I know, and
I'm not that close to you, so.
no, I think I just always knew I had a lot of intuition, and if I didn't listen to the intuition, just did logic, which I am high in, it didn't work out the way it did with intuition.
So you're a doctor in what?
In education.
Okay. So you got some good credibility going for you there.
Oh, years of spent, and actually it's good to kind of anticipate because I work with behavior kids in the main. I taught in college too, but most of my career was with middle school, bless their little hearts, criminals and so forth, really bad behavior problems.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. No one
you
else
help 'em?
wanted to do it. Oh, I sure did.
I bet you
would
did.
have quit, yeah. Oh, no, I don't waste time. Most of the kids, in fact, I was when I went to teach at this school, it was automotive school. I taught there part-time, I was teaching English. I knew I was going to meet one of the kids because I taught right there near Proviso West in Maywood.
Okay.
Sure, and then one day I was taking a break and I was going down the hall and she says, Dr. K. She says, remember me? I said, Lynette Morales. I remembered her. And then I told her a story of how I had to break up the fight, and it took 4 of us, 4 guys, 3 guys and myself, and we couldn't break these girls apart.
Yeah, girls are nuts.
She says, shh, I'd take 3 boys for any one of those.
Yeah.
She turned out good though, and she said, you are the best teacher I had. And I almost cried because I didn't know she liked me that well.
Right.
And bless
But you're
her.
an influence.
I was. She was going for med-tech. Isn't that
There
a
you go.
nice ending to that story? And that's what teaching is about, helping people. Can't help people, don't teach.
So what's psychic about, though? When you go into a home to do things, I watch all these psychic shows on TV.
Maybe too many you're watching.
I do. I can't help it. It's what I like. Because it intrigues me, but I know a lot of it's production value, and a lot of it is faked, and a lot of it whatever. But
Well.
I just watch it because I do know some good psychics.
Oh, yes.
And
oh,
it
yes.
just, they amaze me.
It isn't amazing.
Like
it's,
Scott and I were talking about earlier, you know, he might be a little skeptical about the whole thing, but so am I. I'm skeptical until somebody proves it. It's just simple, right, Scott?
Yeah, I'm very interesting. I like to listen. I always think listening is a skill. Being in radio, that's always I tell my listeners that listening is a skill. No, I am really. I'm a total skeptic. My question is, and I said that earlier to Chuck when we were pontificating earlier about this. To me, now can you go out tonight and give the lottery numbers for tomorrow?
I wouldn't do that. I don't waste my psychic ability on that crap. What I do is help people with problems. I don't help them get rich. I help them with serious problems.
What about in a situation where there's murders constant? Say there.
Yes, I help on that.
You do. Well, then that's good, because to me that's always been that's why I've been a skeptic, because to me I'm thinking if there's somebody that's out murdering people, 5, 6, 7 people, there's been different instances. To me, a psychic, if they were real or legit, then to me as a good citizen, why aren't and I'm not labeling you, but I'm saying just being a skeptic, and I am very much of a skeptic. I believe in a little bit, but then why don't say there's 3-4 murders right now? Why can't a psychic, if it's legit, go to the police and say this is such and such doing it?
They do.
They do. And in answer to what
I don't
you're
know
saying,
that. That's why I'm asking the question.
because a lot of times, here's what happens, and I think you're
I'm
going to agree
listening
with
to you,
this.
Chuck.
Because I know people that do this. I know a lady in Florida that she would find the dead people, the murderers. She had a 20-year track record.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
She's written books. She's amazing. But she
Oh, it
stopped
is.
doing it because I had a meeting with her down on the coast. I signed her up. Matter of fact, Jean Antoinette is her name. And what she did was she would look at photographs and find and look in the eyes, be it of a dead person. And here's what she did. Because her husband, she got remarried. And we went out for chicken wings and beers, which I loved because she's a psychic. She wants
That's good
to party.
food.
It's
That's some
great,
good.
baby.
That's some good
On
grub.
the coast in Florida?
Sure, doesn't get any
Rock
better
on.
than that.
So her husband, she was married. She got remarried, and she never did it anymore. She quit. And I asked her why she quit. Because this was at the time I had a meeting with her when that girl was killed in Aruba.
Oh, wasn't that awful? I
that
know
was.
which
So
one you mean.
what I
Oh.
was going to do with her was bring a camera to her. I was going to pay for this, and I broke half the time. I was going to go take her to Aruba and have her do her
Oh,
thing.
that would have been wonderful.
And she said she had no doubt in her mind she could do it. Her husband said, I'm going to tell you what she did. At the same time when that girl was missing,
The blonde, the little
Right,
blonde. I forget
right.
the name. Yes.
I can't think of her name either, but that's when that senator's, or that girl was missing in Washington.
Oh, yes.
So her husband said, do me a favor and do one thing for me. I just want to see you in action. We won't report it. We won't do anything. So she goes, I'm going to do it one time for you. She said, he goes, listen what she did to me. She gets a piece of paper, and she closes her eyes, and she starts scribbling, and her eyes are flittering. And she's like this, writing stuff, and there's all of a sudden I see like a fence and a hill and a this.
Wow.
They found the girl exactly where she wrote it out.
Well, that's,
So what happens, where I'm getting this is, it took her years and years and years and years, because when you're a psychic, let's just say she says, I know the guy that killed these 3 people in Elmhurst. You understand? So if she says that and goes to the police are going to think for the most part she's a nut.
Right.
And they're not
exactly.
going to listen to her.
Yeah, they are.
But they're going to start listening to her if she gets through to them and says a couple things that maybe the investigator
one
goes,
would
hold
know.
it, nobody knew that.
Right.
See, then they might come out of the ether a little bit and go, all right, Sharon, I don't believe this at all, but maybe you can help me do this. And then that's when they helped. That's when they helped.
That's a great story.
I guess I ask a lot of questions, being that I've done many interviews over the years. And a couple things I would think of would be the first thing about, you hear these stories about innocent people that are sitting in jail, for a crime that they didn't do. Their life's ruined. That's one. 2, child molesters. I've got 2 teenage daughters, and I always worry about them, to me, those are just horrible people.
Of course.
And they're dirtbags. We'll just put it.
Right.
A psychic, if they could find these people, so they're never back on the street again, and find the criminal. If this is, and I don't want to say it's legit. I don't believe in it, but I feel as though that's what they should. But that's what to me would be important.
But what happens with that? Now I'm going on your side.
It's okay. I want to hear.
Playing ping pong here.
Good.
What I think happens is this: you have defense attorneys who are idiots, in my opinion.
Some.
A lot of them are.
I have a good friend who's excellent.
Oh no, I know one too.
Maybe the same one. Go ahead.
There's one.
Well, for $200 an hour, $250 an hour, they should do something.
No,
right?
it's not
But what I'm saying-
$250. It's about $400.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying
some
is,
are, yeah, you're right.
I don't care to talk about that. I don't care what their fees are. Let me get my point across. I'm losing control. Anyway.
And it's your show, Chuck.
I know. So anyway, what I'm saying is this. It happens all the time. You're in prison, and the prosecutor will not, they have evidence saying that, really, we shouldn't have put him away. But because they want to keep their stupid record straight,
Sure, of course.
they're not gonna, which I wouldn't do. I wouldn't care about my record.
Well, you're
if I put
honest.
him away, and then I find out 5 years later from another lawyer that,
Right.
listen, Chuck, here's what happened here. I'd go, really? I'd be an advocate to get him out.
Oh, yeah, you're an
But they
honest
won't
person.
do it. They won't do
That's
it.
my
So
point.
you think they're going to listen to a psychic when they're not listening to an attorney?
You got a good point, Chuck.
Yeah. No,
That's
I
good.
agree. I
But
agree.
that's true, though.
Yes,
so
it is.
going to that side of it, that's the reason why, talking about that, you can't put them away. Lawyers and judges don't. They let them out. So you're talking about the child molesters. I'd kick them in the neck if I found one. If someone
Shoot
touches
'em,
my
better
kid,
yet.
I'm
Shoot
gonna
them.
shoot them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those are the scum of
I was going to say shoot them, but I don't want to be too violent. I don't know you too
That's
well.
not violent.
That's
That's
the truth. That's what it
justice.
should
And,
be.
I teach
I'm
martial
not-
arts, so
I'm
I
not
like,
necessarily
I like
they
to,
should be
I like
shot,
to be
just-
somewhat violent.
Good.
So I would kick them hard
Good. Oh,
and make sure
good.
they hurt.
Oh,
Let them
so it would
let
be
them
bad.
suffer. But
I'd
we're not
make
going
them suffer in a little room.
I thought you
we're
meant
in
a
room
little
like this
kick
in
or
the
something.
studio,
Oh, okay.
And then I would go, now here's what we're going to do. You're going to get out of this room, knowing that they can't get out of the room with me in it. And I
good,
would say,
Chuck.
this is going to be fun. Why did you touch those kids?
Oh, that's the worst.
And I'd be knocking them around, and
Oh, really? Give it to him.
the
Okay.
brick wall behind the curtain.
Oh, you mean
Oh.
a lot of punching. Oh,
Oh, I
see.
mean a lot of blood, a lot of pain.
Make them suffer.
Make them suffer because that's what they did. They're idiots, and I know they're going to get out.
Yes,
a lot of
isn't
them.
that
A lot
the
of them.
tragedy?
It's horrible.
A lot of them.
I have
so
a-
getting back to the skeptic, psychic, whole thing. When I first met you, I told you, I'm skeptic too, and you should be
said that.
skeptic. I think everybody should be skeptic because there's a lot of people that are not real out there, and they're going to talk in generalities, right?
Some do. They're
Right.
terrible, and you
And they're
can
terrible
tell
'cause
that
I know
right away.
some.
They repeat the same thing to the different. You come, he
Right.
comes, same thing.
Right.
Oh, I've been breeding with some of those.
And I think that a true test to me of psychic ability is like when I first met you at the bar, is going into be it a house, an establishment,
Right.
wherever you're at, and naming names or naming instances. Now I know, like we were discussing earlier, that you're not going to put the arrow in the red every single time,
No,
but it might be in the yellow or the blue, and it's going to be in the same. And it's not in generalities, I don't think. I
Mine
really
wasn't.
don't.
Mine
I
really
don't.
wasn't
I
at
don't.
all.
I think that you can't get it. Nobody said they're 100% perfect because there's only one that's 100% perfect, and he's up there.
That's right, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
That's what I'm saying. So he's the one that's going to be 100% perfect. But there has to be something, because I think I mentioned to you, and I did mention to you
What's
about
that?
the psychic that I had to deal with that got me into doing this.
I don't remember that. No,
well,
tell
it was
that.
it was a gentleman that came to my home,
No, I don't.
and he told me stuff that I cried. I'd be honest.
So he was a psychic, and
He was the most amazing one I've ever met in my
Why
life.
did he happen to come to you? What?
Well, because I signed him up as a talent agent because he was also an actor and all this other stuff.
Oh,
But I signed up his teenage daughter. So I did a demo reel on the teenage daughter to promote her. So when I do those demo reels on actors, I do it age appropriate. So she was a teenager. So there's only certain emotions you can have them do.
Sure.
Happy, sad, mad. I nail them. And if it's a teenager,
I've got teenage daughters. I know what I'm going through right
So
now.
do I.
Yeah. Oh, so you know, yeah, the hormones.
So it's like if you're doing mad, you know, it's like, you know, you put them in that scenario of why they would be mad. Why can't I take the car? Just have them act and just tear it up and just go nuts and see where their acting ability is, or look surprised. So what I did with this girl was I said, I want you to look really surprised and pretend you're going on a kick butt vacation. Open your eyes real big and
Going
say,
to Disney
I
World.
can't believe, whatever, right? And I go, so what was the best vacation you've ever been on? And she goes, well, my parents and my whole family are all psychics, and I've never had a teenager tell me that, by the way. And she says, so we went to the East Coast and went to Salem, and we went to and we do investigations. I'm like, really?
What's that?
And on the tape, I go, that's the nuttiest thing I've ever heard, right? Because I wasn't exposed to that. Then her father, psychic, contacted me, and we started talking.
Okay, that was good.
Then my daughter was out with a friend as a teenager. She's 23 years old now. But she was like 16, 17 years old. I was coming back from a Van Halen concert. And there was her boyfriend's car was in my driveway. And I went in the backyard, and she says, listen to what happened here. And she told me that this girl she had just met that night was naming deaths in my family.
Now,
and
this
the
was
names.
the girl that you
No,
talked to.
this is just a friend that she had met through another friend. So then I said, well, you should meet this gentleman
The
that
other
just signed
one,
up because
yeah.
he's very intelligent. He speaks intelligent. He can maybe guide you. That's the reason why he was at my house, because I don't have
story.
clients come to my house.
Good story,
I just
yeah.
don't want to be that close with them, because then it's like, how come you didn't book me for this job? How come I didn't get called for this? Hey, you know, Batman's in town and I want to play, you know. So I don't like that, and I don't get that close with
I
him.
don't blame you.
But I ended up hiring him, and we started doing shows.
Great, Chuck. Great story.
But it's great until he screwed me when I made him $20 grand in a week
Oh, no.
for a gig, and he owed me $3 grand commission, and he burned me on it.
You're kidding. Oh,
And I-
Back to this.
So that whole 6 minutes or so of me telling that little story is getting that I'm skeptical too until he proved that to me. And if you were in my shoes, which I'll tell you later on what he did, you would have fainted. That's all I can tell you. You would have went. Just something you can't Google, baby.
Right.
Well, you can. Yeah. So can you? To me, it's like psychics, like Google in the mind. Can you predict, like, if someone's going to get a divorce in 5 years?
Well, look, first of all, you don't know the first thing about it, so it's difficult just for these questions. There are specialists, like I just told you. I'm a specialist in death and suffering, and I don't let that out a lot because that's so tiring. There are specialists, and I know one, just like as you said, Chuck, and she did help the police, but the police do not acknowledge it.
They don't.
They call her up, she does it, and I've done some police work also, and I was right on. I gave clues that no one could possibly have known, and I didn't do it for recognition because it was another psychic who was murdered. I even got the make of the car of the getaway. I got how many men, how she was killed, and so on and so forth.
Can I ask this question? It's your show, Chuck. You
Yeah,
don't know
go
it
ahead.
from Adam. I am 100% leery or whatever the word.
Right.
You don't know me. I've known you for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Can you tell something about me?
You know, you would be hard to read, and I'll tell you why.
Why is that?
Because see, it's a cooperation.
Well,
I'm not here to be tested. No, that's what you think.
Well, no, you're
No,
saying
and I agree
No.
with her, by the way.
because you
Wait.
think I have an attitude towards this?
Well,
Big
yeah,
attitude.
and if you're
Look
not
at
open
yourself.
to that part,
No, I can't.
you got to
You're
approach
not going to dare
it
me.
almost like
I'm not daring you.
Yes, you are, because you're going this way.
I'm not daring you, no.
Well, of course, I can read people when they're open to reading, but you're not. It would be the same thing if I want to teach you baseball and say, geez, I hate baseball. Make me. No, I'm not
No.
going to make you.
But then how, okay,
It's a cooperation between two open minds, and you obviously
No,
don't
I'm
have
open,
no.
but I'd have to
No,
have
you're
proof.
not.
I'd have to have proof. You're saying that I have an
You're not
attitude.
open. Hey, look.
Because I don't
if
believe in
you're-
it. You're
Right,
right. I don't
then
believe in
why
it. Well, then why
would-
can't you know one thing about me then? Or one
I
thing?
do. Wait, I already told you how you are. I could tell you more, but you might not want to hear it. Why should I waste my precious time, which I charge for, to prove to you? I don't have to prove anything. I've done this 30 years.
Well, good for you.
Good, yes, I
don't-
think so.
Well, I don't believe in it.
And
So
pe-
that's
well,
I-
fine.
that's right. There's
Am
the
I
point.
asking you?
Well, no, I just don't understand why you can't answer
Do I
one
want
question.
to? Why? I don't know you.
I don't know you either.
Well,
so
why
how
should I help
but
you?
I'm not asking for your help.
Yes, you are. You're
no,
what
because
are you
you're the one
asking?
with the attitude, not me.
I'm sorry, I'm not. You're asking me to prove my point. I don't have to prove anything to you, and I'm not going to.
Well, then
See, the biggest thing here is this.
that's why.
And-
That's
and-
one of the reasons.
No,
that's
no,
why on the
and
radio
I
show.
agree, and
I don't care
I
whether that's or
agree
not.
with it to a point. It's like I agree with both of you in one sense, but I agree with her in the sense that a person really has to come into this. Like, remember when we were talking earlier about the skeptical mind, and if something happens in your house, let's just say, and you're 100% skeptic, and again, so am I, but I'm open. So, when things happen to me or I've experienced things, I am open to it to a point where I believe it is something paranormal, and I think it's somebody trying to reach me or talk to me about something. Whereas if it happened to you because you're that kind of, close.
I'm open.
No,
I'm
I know.
open.
But if it happened to you, you'd be more. You would be.
You don't even know me, man.
Wait, you would
I
be
see
more.
your
You got to
gestures.
admit, you would be a little bit more justifying.
This lady doesn't even know me. I mean,
I know.
You
but
know,
what
I
I'm saying?
taught speech, and I know your body language, and it tells everything about you.
So what's it telling about? What? It's just tell us.
Look at how you are. You're going away. Your face is like this.
No,
Yes.
you're the one that's mimicking me, man. I'm just.
I mimicked to show you. Said, how do you know? And I'm answering.
I tried getting control. I lost it.
Do you want me to sit like this, like a
I
genie?
don't care how you
Well,
sit.
I mean,
Doesn't
you're the
make
one with
any
the
difference.
attitude here.
No, I don't think so.
I think
do.
you're. What have I
You
said?
came on a show to talk to a psychic, and you're daring me. That's ridiculous.
I'm not daring you.
Yes, you are.
I'm
But
asking.
I did it. I did 2 psychics in 2 shows in Kentucky about 5-6 months ago, and I kind of approached it the way you did because number one, they weren't cooperating with me in the sense that I had all this. There was all these people that wanted to do this. I set up a little studio.
Oh.
Where I set up cameras, lights, and I drove there from Chicago to
Oh,
Kentucky
jeez.
to do these interviews. So I figured I can get 3-4 shows out of the deal, and I know a lot of them. And I represent all of them. So, but they were like, I'm like, all right, here's what we got to do. You got a half hour, and then one was like, well, Chuck, I just can't do it like that. I go, well, you have to. This is when we're doing it. And then I scheduled you, and then I scheduled you, and then we're doing this. I got to knock this out.
30
I'm drinking
minutes.
Monster drinks, baby. You think I'm wired? You should see what I'm drinking.
Got a
that
lot of
stuff.
energy going, right.
Right, and I knew that I had a lot to do, which is not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not.
And so I sat down with one psychic, and I don't believe in her at all, and other people don't. And I was kind of like you in the sense that I sat down with her and I says, and I like her. She's a nice girl. Don't get me wrong. But I went into it like, well, blah, 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 blah. How did you know? Just like I did with you. And I says, you know what? Read me. And she had that look like you did. She went, what? I go, you read me. That's the only way I'm going to know if you're real or not. And I want to know. The cameras are going. Read me right now. And she kind of said, well, you said, well, I'll do it. But I know she didn't want to do it because she had that. And she was talking
it's
in
a
generalities.
two-way
And just
street.
kind of,
It
I
is a
understand
two-way
that.
street.
And I was closed to her. Then I had another one. He was a young guy. And I mean like 26 years old, young guy. Thought he was like Elvis, just a good-looking guy. Yes, I'm a psychic and I'm a good-looking guy. Right? He's one of those guys. And I didn't want to interview him because he had an attitude. He's sitting down like, he goes, oh, Chuck, I'm so tired. I did a talk. I go, you talked 4 hours ago for 45 minutes. I drove from Chicago to Kentucky to do this, and I'm doing interview after
And he
interview.
knew what you were going to do to ask him to do everything.
Right, and then I ended up never using him because he was so standoffish, and he's sitting there.
Oh my goodness, people
And
wouldn't
this is
like
my
him.
show, and I'm talking, and I'm going like, "What are you doing?" Because then I start getting a little weird.
That's rude.
Then I'm going, "What are you doing? Clean your nails later. We're here
That's
to do a
rude.
show here."
Rude.
Right, exactly.
So I thought it would be a good show with me just telling them, "What are you doing?" But then I thought it's not even worth editing and doing in post because I didn't like the guy, and I didn't even want to send him the tape to have him
People wouldn't
as a
like him
promotion.
because he wasn't genuine.
No. So
Well, body
I
language
don't
is
wanna,
body language isn't important.
right, and I don't want to get. I understand what's going on between you two,
No, we had bad vibes. There's no question
right?
about it.
And that's and it
I
is
don't
what
have
it is.
bad vibes against you. You're impossible to read. Don't accuse me of
I'm
having
not
bad
accusing you of
vibes.
anything. I'm just
But you
asking.
We
said
could end. We
you
got 3
have.
minutes left. We could end
That's
this.
an accusatory
Wait,
when
we
you
could
say
end
you
this in
have.
3 minutes with you.
What did I say?
You
Why don't
have.
you oil up and just start fighting?
That's what you said.
No.
That's what I think.
Yes, you did. You just said it.
I wanted.
Play it.
Bart, you got any
replay it.
oil? I want to see
So what's the
some
point?
like
What's-
oil.
you-
I
fighting
don't know
right
what
here.
your point is. I I don't really know.
I don't.
I guess you think you're very good, and
No,
you
I
want
don't-
to trick
No.
somebody. That's all.
No,
call
I
a-
didn't say
a
I'm very
lawyer.
good. I just
No, you
wanted
don't
to.
have to.
I just wanted to know to ask you to do a reading. That's basically what this
Well,
whole
I
thing was
wouldn't
about.
read for you
Hey, let me
because you
ask you one
already
thing.
said you don't believe in it. Why? I have nothing
Hey.
to prove to you. It's nothing.
Ready?
Yeah, sure.
I want to ask you one thing. Do you ever, before we leave, do you ever like go into a home and feel things?
Oh, sure.
And then when you do, will you tell the people?
No, unless it was something of danger. I can't go around just telling people. And I also shut off the psychic. I had a friend who was extremely good, and I warned her. I said, don't shut it off. You're through with what you're supposed to be doing. Shut it off. Nope, she wanted to help everybody. So she was having dreams and everything. She did end up in the asylum because it is a power that I believe comes from God. And I do it to help people for spiritual reasons, and the best ones do it for spiritual reasons.
What kind of spiritual? Can I ask that?
What do you want to ask? What?
Well, you said
tried.
spiritual. I'm spiritual. I'm a
tried.
Christian. What does it do from a spiritual situation?
I think I said about 5 times it helps people. Isn't that important?
If it does help people, yes.
Well, 30 years of reading, and people come back to you. I guess they're damn fools, huh? They come back.
I didn't say nothing.
Why? You didn't say nothing? That's not grammatical, but anyway.
Hey, Sharon,
Yeah.
we have a minute left.
Oh.
If people wanted to contact you, how do they contact you?
They can, you mean give my phone number? It'd be great. It's 847. And I do parties, and I do talk to people. I can even do it over the phone, or they can write me at and as long as they're open to it and they're sincere, I'd be glad to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thanks, sir.
Hey, brother. Thanks for watching. That was a rock and roll show.